It's another episode of Use It or Lose It, and we are extremely excited. Why? Not because of our guests. Yes, because of our guests as well. But in South Africa, we are on level 2 lockdown. In other words, the bottle store's open. So my friend Schalkberger is extremely happy. Besides that, though, we are extremely excited as well about our two guests. Two of the pillars of the World Cup winning Springbok team, the number 1 and the number 3. No, it's not their IQ that's on the back. They are extremely talented rugby players, fantastic individuals, and we are very, very fortunate to have them on the show today. Frans Malherbe, or Joshua Francois Malherbe, and Stephen Kitshoff. Just Stephen Kitshoff. Some people also call him Spicy Plum. Spicy Plum, how are you doing?
Thanks, John. No, I'm doing very well. And yourself?
No, I'm good. We like I said, can you see I'm excited to have you guys on the show?
Level 2. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and having you on the show. I am more excited about that than level 2, even though I am pretty excited about level 2.
Level 2, bottle stores open, John. I went in yesterday, local bottle store, complete panic buy. I've never been so excited in my entire life. Frana, I know you, I think your local tops also saw you.
Level 2.
I snuck in and I couldn't resist. I bought 12 cases of Castle Lager. Have you been, Spicy Plum, have you been into the liquor store? Not yet.
So I slipped in there yesterday. 4 cases of Castle Light and a couple of whiskeys, and very excited for the weekend ahead.
Do you guys think do you think there's a problem if we get that excited by bottle stores opening?
No.
Are we all right, eh?
I did some panic buying in that short window when it was open, so I'm actually still fine. But Scalla, obviously he sent me a photo of me leaving Tops with some beer on a trolley, and I'm like, that's in Stellenbosch. He didn't take the pic. So I asked him, where did you get this? Because this is quite, blackmail material. And he said, no, Fred. I said, Scalla, we'll sort it out later. Please keep that thing to yourself. But yeah, I'm still fine from that panic buying in that break.
Yeah, and how was lockdown? I mean, for you guys still playing professionally, for us it's easy. We don't have to train every day, but it must have been quite a challenge to stay in a kind of a decent level of fitness during lockdown with not that many kind of, I suppose, equipment to be able to be in the condition that you were in November 2019, maybe.
Yeah, John.
Frans, I'll ask you that question. I can see you had a lovely lockdown. Eh?
Lockdown lately.
That's why I don't have to go do panic buying because I still have enough. But no, yeah, it was quite tough. I actually had some little bit of space and what bike to train. Then the days when I do nothing or when I'm just lazy, I think of Kitsy, sitting in a building in a flat. That's an excuse. I don't have an excuse. So yeah, it was tough. But as things opened up a bit, it was actually nice to have some weekends off as well, and do stuff that you never get time to do. Obviously, in the laws of the lockdown levels and.
And Kitsy, you've been keeping busy. You've been playing a bit of golf, I see.
Yeah, just came from the golf course today. So started triple, double. Had to fight back and luckily shot at 89 towards the end of the day. So enjoying my golf and get some free time over weekends and stuff.
Kitsy, I mean, for all of us, this is such a weird year. I mean, especially for professional rugby player. Luckily for you, your time to rehab.
No, keep going, Scott. We love these bloopers. Please keep going.
To do some rehab on a torn pec muscle. But also, it's not like a normal return to play. Because normally you get injured, you're home for a week or maybe 2 weeks, and then you start with your rehab. Everything fine, ready to go?
Yeah, tore my pec literally last game of the season before lockdown and going straight into lockdown, trying to do rehab at home. But it's actually a blessing, getting that time off and actually where you normally 3 weeks at home and you start working with Lees or the physios, actually get 3 months at home. It's such a blessing and gives me so much time to recover and actually get back to normal fitness, not like running fitness, but like injury fitness, and just being able to be back on the field is just absolutely great.
And getting the strength and bulk back, because that must have been the issue because you can get the range, but if you don't have the proper weights, and we have seen Schalk's obviously never been in the gym, but I used to see you guys in the gym, and it's not as if you take Schalk's weights, you take proper weights to.
Yeah, it was a bit of. It took a bit of hard work, and so luckily we got some great S&C guys at the Stormers. So I'm back up to like 90% of strength, and just keep building on it, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be back to 100%.
Frans, so obviously us now as fans, we can't wait for rugby season to start. But we're not all in the clear yet when it's happening. Have you guys got a date set in mind when it's happening? When's their warm-up games?
Scalla, yeah, well, as we spoke earlier on a Zoom call as well, it's keeps on moving back and forth. I think we are in the hands of the government when what is allowed, but it's looking like mid-September for an official competition to start. We don't know yet if it's a Currie Cup or single round Super Rugby South African Conference. If there might be a warm-up before that, the weekend before that. That's the current plans. As I asked Shimmy the other day, what's the plans on when we're playing? He said, don't quote me, eh? So nobody wants to put the word on it, but that's the talks at this stage.
So is it fair to say that Shimmy knows nothing?
Come on, he's our coach.
He's a scrum coach as well. He surely doesn't know.
Scrum coach, eh? So you guys must be tight, eh?
Don't quote me.
Don't quote me, but yes.
So if we talk training for you guys now, have you actually done live scrums, lineouts, mauls, stuff us forwards love to do?
The lovely stuff of the game.
The lovely stuff of the game. Have you started with that contact training and contact conditioning?
Very basics. So that's just more setups and not really getting stuck into each other, but just the basics and actually just trying to figure out like where we were and trying to get back to just setting up the whole system again.
Also a lot of young guys that added to the squad. So we're a much bigger squad than normal to get us training in different groups, whatever, on the regulations. A lot of young forwards, so it's like to build it, the foundation from scratch, to get those guys in, and that's what we've started doing, a little bit of fundamentals and whatever.
Because scrumming is something that the two of you really enjoy, don't you? It's as a prop forward, you take pride in your scrummaging. We saw the value of a solid scrum in the World Cup final. And as a background player, I always appreciate that. And being surrounded by forwards here now, it does make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But I do, however, feel that backs can add a lot of value in terms of scrummaging. And you guys might not agree, but I've actually asked a friend just to give his views on scrummaging. And I'd like you to have a look at this. So we've included this new part in Use It or Lose It, and I want to call it Butchie's Block, because I'm not doing the Don't Laugh Challenge today because the forwards won't get the jokes. But please do have a look at this video, and then we can comment after.
How's it, John? How's it, Scalla? And greetings to Francie, to you and Kitsy. Good to see you on the show. Of course, having you two big boys on the show, it really got me thinking back and reminded me a bit of what the coaches, I always used to hear the coaches talking about a few things, and I always used to hear them saying, imagine we had 15 Jean de Villiers on the field, or imagine we had 15 Butch Jameses on the field. I often used to hear them saying that, but it just got me thinking, like, why don't we do that? You get 15 backline players and put them on the field. I know what you guys are thinking now, Kitsy, you and Francie. I know you guys are thinking how they're going to scrum. But I thought the same thing. I thought that might be a little bit of a trouble. But I got onto Google, looked up a few videos, and I saw two brilliant scrums where they added in the backline players. Take a look at them.
He's on two.
What an opportunity for him now.
Australia putting Kurtley Beale on the flank on this side. I don't think he knows what he's doing. He definitely doesn't know what he's doing.
This is my favorite one.
Johnny May for England. Look at this technique. Absolutely beautiful.
Hy lig die voete op.
You see that, Francie and Garfield? Now that's power. I especially like Johnny May. Did you see his technique? You know when the guy puts his head through the legs and it's coming close to your hole there, you flinch like that. I mean, that's where you get the power. Let me show you. This car's in park and it's got its handbrake on. I mean, watch out. Finger in the hole. I just don't want to push it because I obviously go down the hill. Okay, but where's the camera? Oh, there you guys are. No wonder you guys can't catch the ball. You can't even see it.
So those are the opinion of Butch James. Do you think that can work? Do you think the 15 backs? How's the scrumming technique?
Yeah, I think the second one actually added a bit of weight. The first one, I think he was standing up straight half of the time. Yeah, I don't know, Scalla, John. Yeah, I think, when scrums aren't going well, then people want to pick, 15 backs. But when it's going well, I think there's actually some worth in the big boys up front.
I've actually seen Frana look like Butchie like that. I mean, after some of these long scrums, we just sit in there. I remember you get up, sort of a sign. We obviously on our bike, us loose forwards, and I would go 3 phases later, and Frana still trying to get the hair, the tape out, and Frana, is you all right? No, it's a bit duiselig. I don't know where I'm at. 4 phases later.
Those long scrums. The key is the guy who gives up first loses the scrum. So when that thing is done, I think it's 2 phases, and you get up from your knees.
Yeah.
Now I could see
So we've got to mention the Rugby World Cup final, obviously. I mean, me and John, we were in studio, and I mean, I said, listen, I think there's scrum potential weakness. But you sort of do your analysis before, and then you go I think 60 minutes because we obviously got, 2 packs of forwards, went for the big split. Obviously, Carl Sinker gets knocked out early on. First scrum, you guys obviously were set up to dominate, go after every single scrum, because sometimes you just want to survive. Some weeks you think, okay, we've got to attack. You obviously had the game plan of we're attacking their scrum. After that first scrum, they were in pieces mentally more than anything. Did you expect that sort of, dominance in scrum time?
Prepping the whole week and saying we got the 6-2 split and actually being able to go at every scrum. And Sinclair went off in the first couple of minutes, and poor Dan Coles, I think he had the longest day of his test career. But I think just that whole mentality going into the game was just trying to take their legs away and just try and scrum and milk penalties as much as we can.
Yeah, well, Schalk, on that, the plan always was for, as they called them, what's the name? The bench.
The bomb squad.
Bomb squad. And
obviously never part of the bomb squad. Yeah. Kitsy's
call them?
If Kitsy drops his pants, he'll remind you of it. He's got
exactly.
the tattoo.
Take off your pants, we can read there. But no, so the call was to go after every set phase, scrums, mauls and maul defense. And, we started getting the result from the beginning. That, it never really happens that way, to be honest. I didn't expect it. Normally, as you said, you will get the result much later. But, that day, it just worked out from the beginning.
Because I've also been involved in teams where we go 6-2 split, but then the coach never has the confidence to actually use it. If you're going well front, which you did in the final, they normally actually just let you stay on there, maybe for a scrum or two too long. Obviously, with Rusty, it was clear that he told you guys, go flat out. Don't hold anything back. If you're done by 30 minutes, you're done by 30 minutes. Because often when you play rugby, you go through that phase, especially you bigger blokes, where you sort of conserve energy and survive because you've got to make 80 minutes. But a massive peace of mind for you guys just to go balls to the wall because the bench is coming, the bomb squad's coming. And Kitty, you were part of the bomb squad.
I can remember, Kitty, when you came on about 5 minutes into the second half, and you almost had a smile on your face coming onto the field because you saw how we really annihilated them in the first half, and knowing that you can get a piece of the pie here, and got a penalty immediately first scrum.
100%. It's a piece of the pie.
That's just what you do.
It's running as a front row, running
Piece
after
of the
that pie.
That's a prize.
It's a prize. No, just there was so much excitement. I think just the whole thing around it, and just seeing how Frana and Beast are just destroying these oaks. You just want to get in part of the action and just be able to continue on what they're doing and just try and milk as much as you can from it.
And did you sort of feel, because from the outside it looked like you almost formed, you knew it was a 6-man front row. Okay, so you get 40, 45 odd minutes and the other get 30, 35 odd. But almost the two squads of it. So France, yourself with Beast and Bongi, and then knowing Kitsy, Malcolm and Vincent came on. Obviously Trevor playing a part in the start of the competition as well. But it seemed like you function so well as two groups. And it's almost as if, it's not, you don't just sub one, you bring all three on because you function so well together. Did you feel it was like that combination just worked in terms of both of those squads?
Yeah. I think so, and what I wanted to say earlier on Schalk's point, John, that was not the only plan for the final. We've been doing that, a few games before, and the guys had confidence in the plan. So the guys who started knew, listen, you can go full out till whenever, come off just after half time, and you had confidence in the guys coming up, and scrumming with each other obviously helped a lot. I mean, ties into your question, having time with a hooker, it's just not putting guys together and expect a
build a lot
result.
Of confidence in those three guys, and actually with that experience and confidence, it actually just became easier every game. As Frans said, like it was a whole World Cup process, and even before that, where we went with those combinations.
It's not only in the games, because obviously training's hell of a competitive, and a guy with Rassie, obviously when he sets his mind that that's what he wants out of the game and it's such an integral part of his plan, he doesn't like it to fail. So in the weeks, the competition must have been tough, because it would have been the bomb squad versus you guys, and then obviously every now and then you interchange and you'll be part of the bomb squad. But that's really where, if you work together, where you guys understand the nuances of where to go, who does what.
Yeah, exactly. It's like training against, not second choice guys. It's actually also first choice guys. Training constantly every week against each other.
Yes, yeah.
It makes it, the result and the competitiveness is much better.
And is it weird then? And you can be honest, and difficult when you have like a 75 kg hooker like Schalk Brits to play with as well. Does that make it uncomfortable?
And also, these guys are 6'3", and then you've got a little 5'10" midget in the middle.
It's like scrumming with a scrum half at hooker. Does it feel like that?
I asked Scalla so many times to stop drinking whiskey and soda and start drinking brandy and coke, because he just never picked up the weight.
Yeah.
But he's obviously, he added so much value with all his experience, and normally a guy that lacks in size in a scrum, adds technique and all that to say, the boring stuff. But it is true, Schalk adds a lot of value with his experience coming from time.
But I don't quite understand. Obviously those two scrums. I mean, the backs go straight to the tight end. I mean, they don't even consider going behind the lucid.
Yeah.
They go straight to the tight end. I mean,
but the forward should advise the back where to go. It's like
I'm not going to pick Kurtley Beale.
No.
Nor am I going to pick Johnny May. I'm going to look to Damien de Allende, the biggest bloke. I'm going to Damien. This is where you go. And
Damien's a proper scrummager.
I think he has scrummed.
Yeah.
John, didn't we train it once? I remember we were with the box, you were still playing, and the centers trained after training with the forwards.
Yeah.
For if there's yellow card. Can you remember it?
Yeah. I was probably injured.
No.
I was never going to pick two things. I'm not going to pick John for: scrumming or kicking. That was never going to happen.
Guys, why are we focusing on me? The loss of Matthew Proudfoot. Do you reckon it's a big loss? Again, you worked with him at the Stormers, then with the Box, and moving immediately to England post the World Cup. You build a good relationship with him as well.
Yeah, I've been working with Matt since 2011. I think it's a big loss, but then it's a massive gain again, like with someone like Don Iman coming into the mix, and what he's done with the Bulls scrum is incredible. I mean, Bulls have been between us and the Bulls dominating the Super Rugby franchise when it comes to scrum time.
Now, forwards obviously needs to be very. You need to be scared. You need to be scared of a forward. especially a prop. You guys need to be mean, eh? And you two, the two of you are mean. Frans, why you look so
What's coming now?
Let me ask this: where did it start for the two of you? So I know Kitsy and Frans, you guys went to very good schools, Paul Russ and Paul Boys.
Second division schools, huh?
Yeah. But where did you grow up? Kitsy in the Strand.
Strand somewhere. So.
And did you ever think about anything else but rugby? Did you take part in anything else?
No, it's mainly rugby and cricket. Yeah, but excelled in rugby, so if I can put it like that.
No, good. No, because we saw this photo. Oh, sorry. We'll put it on now of you participating in a lovely competition. Meneer Lente. No.
It was a very warm lente day.
Spring, yeah. Mr. Spring. So how old were you there, Kitsy?
No, I can't even remember.
Can't remember. Did you win? You won that?
Won this.
How many
ribbon.
people participated?
I think
It was like, well, was that a family? Was that a family event?
I think it's my favorite
Internal
photo I've
family.
ever seen.
That's beautiful.
Yes,
What was the competition about?
Spring.
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 No, I mean.
Zie je Royster van Lammel.
Yeah, and you bring
I know. You didn't even wear
brought
sunscreen.
some beautiful color. Now, so were you always like, rugby was always the thing? Did you know from the start that was going to be your thing?
I don't know, where's this going?
Asking a question. Or was there other sports? Were you always the biggest guy in your class?
Pretty much always the biggest guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always had a love for rugby, but all sports, like playing cricket at school, and I was just enjoyed sports so much as a kid. I've never excelled in academics, so I had actually no choice.
Yeah. Because Frans, you also rugby always?
Not really, John. I think, I grew up in Bedasdorp.
Yeah.
You asked earlier, I went to high school in Paul, as you said, and then actually started only after school in first year. Yeah.
And always the biggest. Always the biggest. Because, if we look at this picture, this is Frans at the age of 7 with two of his friends at the same age. And it literally, apparently your mom tells me there were 4 people in that picture, the previous picture, and you ate it.
Swallowed the one.
Ate your friend.
Have
you always been-
I've been massive actually.
Yeah, no.
In my class, since day one.
Yeah.
Always tight head, eh, Fran?
Classic. Actually not.
The whole
Scalla.
front row.
I switched in, I can't remember, high school. I played I think 1 or 2 seasons loose head.
Yeah.
But always, the rest, always tight head.
Pretty much the same thing.
That is ridiculous photo, guys.
Yeah. No, but it just
Classic photo.
South Africans, a lot of other other countries would say South Africa just breeds, and especially Afrikaans guys, that we breed big human beings. And I think the 3 of you are prime examples of that. It's in our genes, and we just have big human beings. Yeah, I think we've got massive human beings, but in terms of the skill that the 2 of you have, not just from a scrummaging point of view, but how you've developed your game in being able to catch and pass the ball and be able to distribute. I think that's been, for me as a back looking at forwards, really dominating the scrums, but being able to do that is a massive bonus.
Well, I mean, in the Stormers team that I played, we knew as forwards we probably passed better than the backs most times. It was thankfully partly to these guys. Our forwards, our tight forwards had such lovely skills. It was a pity to see the backs not always get it right. But when South Africans play like that, when we played that linked up game where forwards are passing, because often we watch us and we just, we don't really get that dynamic. It's one-off ball carriers, and opposition know where to front up. But as soon as we have a bit of subtlety, like you two, we've got nice little hands and touches, we become almost impossible because we just want a one-on-one. One-on-one against you two guys. It's impossible to stop you, Oaks. It's hard.
Is it something that you consciously work on?
No, definitely. I think like trying to develop the all-round game, and I mean, growing up watching Scalla, just seeing loose forward running like 2 hands on ball and pulling it out the back. It's something that I try and work on a lot and actually be able to bring to my game on a
I was
Saturday.
just too scared to contact, and I saw Frana next to me, or I saw next to me. I said, yeah, give it to you guys. You take the contact, I'll do the clean.
No, definitely, John. You can't be, it's not an excuse to be a prop and, the game plan must be worked out to hide you, or you're just cleaning. It's just too difficult.
My biggest fear was always, I'd never had enough pace to run 20 meters, let alone 30 meters to get to a try line. But you get in a situation where you've got to throw a pass off your left hand to win a game, and you've never developed that skill. And then you can't make the skill, and you feel, you're playing within yourself, and you cost your team the game. That would have killed me. So I was always just playing and passing because you want to have the skill set when the occasion arises, when you threw a gap or you need to make a pass, that you actually got it and you've practiced it a million times. Because you can't just pick it up from nowhere. You have to see a certain situation a million times before you can actually execute it.
That's been, for me, that's been the biggest progress of the Springboks in the last couple of years. Is, and because we're so good at it, you only focus on how good our lineouts are, how good our scrums are, the things that you can really work on. But if you take our pack, the skill level that we have there, the ability of the two of you to be able to give those offloads, to run good running lines. Then a guy like Ergis Snyman, the skill set he has, Luat, Yeba needs to work a little bit more. But then again, he's got other.
Luckily, he's sitting in Toulon. He's so close by.
But then he can just bulldoze through a wall. But once you add that to what we already have, then suddenly you become unstoppable. And I suppose that's a scary thing. And I imagine with the box at the moment, we've won the World Cup, but we can go so much further still because we haven't showed too much of that. Is that a good assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. And like Scalla said earlier, when sometimes, especially on defense, when you're getting one-dimensional, it's easy to defend. You get tackled, you're going nowhere, and you lose confidence in your attacking shape. Downward spirals from there, and it's actually responsibility on us to train that ability to throw those passes. A lot of coaches don't want it, but when the opportunity is there to have the ability to do it, and I 100% agree with you.
The return to rugby now. So we've heard kind of rumours that maybe first weekend of September there might be rugby. Maybe the week after that. That must excite you guys a hell of a lot. But I suppose my question is more regarding the box. So you won the World Cup playing for the Springboks early November. Amazing ride since then. Has it been frustrating not to be able to get on the rugby field again, representing South Africa since becoming champions?
Yeah, definitely. It's super frustrating. And Super Rugby is building up, and you could actually see the South African guys getting a lot of confidence back. And after that long break, and actually being on that bus tour and coming back and actually being able to play rugby again, and then all of a sudden the COVID thing happened. So it's super frustrating, and you actually want to go defend your number one title. You want to be able to be on the pitch and play against the best and actually
keeping that momentum from the World Cup. It's just sort of I thought of it earlier, sort of an anticlimax. Winning the World Cup. I don't know if you agree with me, Kitsi. And then there's nothing for how many months?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's it's a situation we're in now, and it's uncontrollable. So whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know. I suppose we're targeting a November tour of some sorts, but then the big one next year is going to be the Lions. British and Irish Lions coming here. Unfortunately for us, we haven't played much. And after every World Cup, there's an exodus of players, and we've only got 16 of the 33 who was involved in the World Cup still in South Africa. So next year is going to be interesting because, we'll have to make our decision on what you see in Super Rugby. Because next year's Super Rugby, if that goes ahead, that's going to be our sort of trials for next year because there was a wipeout of the season. To be honest, when you go on that tour through South Africa, that party tour, you're glad to get off it, aren't you, eh?
It's a long 10 days.
A massive 10 days. And John didn't end so well in 2007.
No, we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah. He did the whole tour and then missed the Cape Town leg. Eh? He stayed at home.
Wasn't ideal. Do you feel that it has changed your life? I mean, we've got a photo up there as well. You meeting Prince Harry and all of that. Does it feel different now versus 12 months ago?
I think the first bit was definitely it was a bit of a difference in how people react to you, but I think it was a quick bring you back down to earth as soon as Super Rugby started again, because then you're back at your franchise and you have to get up for your franchise again and be able to play good rugby. So I mean, being world champion is great, but you still have to perform every week, and you can't just live off that. Or how I feel, you can't just live off that one moment. You have to be able to
also
carry on
focus
playing.
shifts massively to your franchise, because that's your bread and butter. That's what you do.
100%.
The Springboks are always the cherry on the top, and we all want to get there. But what you do most of the year, which is 70% of your season, is the Stormers, Western Province, and that's your livelihood. That's what you do every day. So you've got to put the effort in there. I always love playing for the Stormers.
No, so
Because I realized we had to move on from all those, the bus tour, all that we did a mid-December Bronco test alone at Newlands, and then we went on camp. Where's it? Wilderness.
Yeah.
Now the Bronco, I said, okay, World Cup celebrations done now. This is back to normal.
The Bronco is not fun at the best of times, even if
I
you're
remember after 07, 1 and 07, John was injured, obviously, and then I was the only...
Obviously, you say so.
Yeah, because every World Cup, that's what he does, and then I had to join in December with new coaching staff. So Rassie was, and Andre...
Jacques Nino and Alistair.
So they all took over. And I got there, and we were in George, and it was quite a nice. I had a few beers, and Rusty said, "This is what you're going to do. You're going to train with us for a week, and then you can have holiday because you were the only Springbok at there." And the first thing we got there, set up a thing, and Brendan Venter also came in for that week, and I had to do an attitude test against Chop van der Merwe, Frans van der Merwe. Now Frans van der Merwe is a massive guy, but when he has to run and catch, he sort of stops, and you can tackle him. It's not too difficult. But when he's already got the pull, and he's got a 20-meter run-up, and you standing there, and that's exactly, put the mouth guard in, and I was like, World Cup is so long ago now, boys. Yeah, I've got to tackle a 125 kg guy coming at 25 k's an hour. This is not going to end well.
Attitude test, always nice, eh? So you haven't felt that the World Cup changed your lives in such a dramatic way that you might get a TV role or anything like that? Nothing as significant as that has happened?
No. Definitely not.
No,
just going there.
I mean, I checked this photo.
You're gonna need to lose some weight.
So Spicy Plum, you've got your nickname, but there's always been a massive resemblance between Frans and Cameron from Modern Family.
That's why I grow a beard, just to look a little bit different.
Nice, because I mean, you swipe that way, and it's,
look how I'm laughing.
I mean, that's separated at birth. It's like you can't tell the difference. What do you think?
You look good though.
Yeah.
Great shape.
Yeah. No, I mean,
slimmed down a bit then.
you check that photo, Cam, and boom. Now, there is a bit of a doppelganger in the midst here in South Africa for you, Frans. So, you've never played for the Bulls, but
You coach the Bulls.
you coach the Bulls. Pine Pienaar, coach.
Guys.
No, Pine Pienaar. That's Pine Pienaar.
That's it.
I actually have a true story about Pine Pienaar. He coached, I think, defense of the SA under 20s. Or I think it was under 19 high performance, something I can't remember. And we were playing in George. And he was setting the cones out on the field for warm-up drill for the game. I didn't play. I think we played against Namibia. I don't know if you were there. And the guys were changing in the change room. I came from the bus or walking around, whatever. And I saw my mother, like, next to the field. She calls me Boetie. She was calling towards Pine.
No.
I thought it was me, I promise. I promise you. And I came like from behind. He's just like, I promise you, my own mother.
Didn't she ever think, why is Boetie putting out the hill?
Full tracksuit, No boots. Yeah.
But there's nothing better than family. They humble you, eh? So things happen in family because, I mean, we got up to some crazy stuff during lockdown as well. But I mean, I see these pictures of you, Frans, and I mean, it's fun. That's not the mean tighthead World Cup winning prop that we got used
that's
to.
Bad, that's
You know, I mean, you take this one with a bit of
Ek wil nie meer die game speel nie. Oh.
It's so cute.
That's
I mean,
bad, eh?
You do that
Baie
with
bad.
family.
Ja, dat was
that
ek
often?
het weer.
You know what?
Kijk, ga hier.
Check.
Yes, that's bad, eh? That's so bad.
Is that the soft side of a World Cup winning title?
Oh, John, I don't know. I don't know. I just let it go. I'll just take it.
Lots of words.
Yeah, ach, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it on the chin. You can't say anything to that. I mean, come on.
Kitsy, I didn't manage to get any of those from you. Yeah.
Put a stop to it quickly.
They must exist.
Yeah, there must be something out there. So, with rugby coming back down a couple of weeks' time, taking into consideration what happened the last 12, 18, 24 months, where would you like to see South Africa rugby be in 6 months' time? From a Stormers point of view and Springbok point of view?
I think just being back on the field, getting crowds in the stands. I mean, if you look in 6 months from now, hopefully Super Rugby kicks off again, and the Boks can get selected for tours or incoming series or playing championships. So I think it's just being able to get back on the field and being able to play, and like Scalla said, get that bit of tight forward flair that we can bring into the team and maybe develop the whole game as a whole.
Front for you?
For now, John, it's actually just a thing of clarity. You know, just to know when we're going to play. First of all, next year, where we're going to play, what competition, what will the structure be. Yeah, obviously for the Boks, I would like, you know, for us at the Boks to get going this year, play, and then obviously next year not to be interrupted with the Lions. Obviously, is a big thing for us. So hopefully, for the next year up till Lions tour, you know, that there's no interruptions wherever we play, that we can, you know, prepare well with, you know, informed players.
Yeah. No, well, I think there's no one more excited to see rugby come back than the actual fans. And Scalla, we see ourselves as fans these days.
I'm massively relieved that I'm not playing still. But like me and John, obviously through Supersport, still involved, so we still watch. Unfortunately, you know, we're not going to have fans in the stadiums, which is a pity, because I mean, there's no better place in the world to play at a Newlands, and we've got to give Newlands a send-off. Unfortunately, it's not going to get the send-off that I think it deserves. Although me and John is planning, you know, a few changing room tours or nights with Brian Peterson, just sitting down there drinking as much beer as we can. But I mean, we're massive fans of you guys, you know, and the two of you, obviously that World Cup final stands out as, you know, the best ever scrumming performance from any team I've ever seen. But thanks for coming on to our show. I mean, what a privilege. I'm glad you still answer my WhatsApps, Frans, you know, after the Rugby World Cup. And I mean, obviously, I'm glad to see that you're pretty handy with the social media stuff. I mean, John was the spy, and he got all of those sent across to me. I couldn't believe it. I was crying from laughter watching them in my bedroom last night.
That stuff, that stuff's gonna come out some point later in my life. Probably gonna do again. Anyway, guys, thanks for.
Yeah, and there's a lot that we didn't share. So
thanks.
Yeah, so just please do remember that. And you've got terrible friends.
I saw that.
No,
it's never a secret.
But thanks for joining, guys. We really enjoyed it. It's been amazing to see both of you enter the Stormers and Western Province setup when we were I was has-been already. And to see in terms of Springbok rugby how you have grown into world-class players. Kitshoff, I can remember you joining us there at the Stormers, and I think for like a week you wouldn't say a single word.
A week, a month.
And now a leader of a leader of the group, all four of us have captained the Stormers, so it's been amazing to see and true legends of Stormers rugby and our South African rugby as well.
I remember Kitsy, the first time I met him, it was like a January, obviously I had quite a big December, but we were running the, was it Bronco? What way we were running? Repeated sprint. Yeah. And Kitsy was the one marking down my score. And then I had to repay the favor, but didn't say a word. He was just like, I thought, who's this fellow? He doesn't even say, well done, nothing. I basically just, did my best score ever. But we are massive fans, Kitsy, in Frana. All the best, and especially with the Stormers. Obviously, me and John, we never got a trophy at the Stormers, or Western Province for that matter. So give it horns there, and then what will happen after that if you're playing well enough, like you've done the last 10 years or so. The Springboks, we know the whole country's behind you guys. But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, man.
Awesome, guys.
So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, guys. The future might be uncertain, but for you guys who decided to join in again and watch another episode of Use It or Lose It, what is very certain is the fact that these two individuals, rather large individuals, have done fantastically well in their careers. World Cup winners, great personalities, leaders of the Stormers rugby team and in the Springbok setup as well. And we've managed to be able to now call them friends as well. Schalk and myself have never lost to them in a golf game. And I've never scrummed against them, but Butch James apparently wants to scrum against them as well. So there's no uncertainty about that. But what you need to do is you need to follow us on Instagram. You need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you need to like us on Facebook. I got it right. See you next time.